We are just over 3 minutes late. Welcome to the Kernel Tech News and Global Crypto weekly live stream every single Monday, 1:30 p.m. UTC. How's everybody doing? Where you at? Let me know in the chat and in the comments what's going on with each and every one of you. I will give a shout out to everybody that does give a watch and come through. We are going to run through all of the stories as well, though. But there's not a lot of stories today because there are four primary stories that we need to talk about. And of course, when it comes to technology, most of it is around AI. There is a lot of stuff happening at the moment in the world of AI. As we know, is this bubble ever going to burst? That's what we all want to know. Is the bubble ever going to burst? So yes, welcome to the weekly live stream wherever you are in the world. 9:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. That's on the east coast of the US of A and Canada as well. 9:30 a.m. if you are in the States on Eastern Daylight Time. 1:30 p.m. UTC. That's Central sort of Greenwich Meridian Time. That's London area, UK. And then where I am is Central European Time, Central European Standard Time. So I'm Central Africa, and then all the way up to Central European. And then for a lot of our Indian followers as well, who are in the likes of Mumbai, Delhi, and around those areas, Indian Standard Time, 7 p.m. So welcome to the show, guys. Let's get into what is going down. New format here as we are experimenting with trying to get the portrait mode viewable for those that watch this on their phone screens. So last week we saw that the presentation did not come across on those that were watching on portrait. And interestingly enough, the portrait view was the one that got the most views. So we want to optimize for that. So if you're watching on your desktop, then you have a rather large screen with a couple of little extras on the side, like our tech news website and our crypto news website there on the left and right. If you're watching this on portrait, then you would just see the Global Crypto and Kernel News logo. So a reminder, you can get all these stories on globalcrypto.tv, www.globalcrypto.tv, and on kernel.news. www.kernel.news is our tech media outlet, our tech news outlet. Of course, these are outlets run and owned by Kernel Media. Kernel Media is the first personality-led, community-owned media company. And we have a whole bunch of outlets on the way for now. Globalcrypto.tv and kernel.news are our first two. Right, let's jump into the stories and what's the news that you guys need to know. Let's have a look at what is going on. The first story is a tech news story, and it is the Trump administration. They are back. Executive order has been signed and Trump has removed AI regulation promoting innovation. This is interesting. Are you able to use Fable yet on your Claude? I am not, and we're trying to research as to whether this is only for the USA or if this is now a global thing, because this has just come through. This is in essence breaking news. It is it's a story like this that is really important for those that are utilizing AI and LLMs, especially those that are using Claude. So the Trump administration issued an executive order which emphasized that the USA continues to lead in AI. That's what Trump wants everyone to know because of industry talent and innovation, which is fair and true because, of course, AI has been led by the likes of OpenAI and Anthropic. So those are the two primary companies at the moment that are spearheading the way. And then, of course, NVIDIA producing the actual hardware for the software to run and providing the compute for these AI companies. China are following. So this is interesting that Trump has signed this executive order. It explicitly states that the administration will not impose overly burdensome regulation on AI developers. The order signals a deliberate policy shift away from the prior administration's stance on AI oversight, positioning the US as the regulatory counterweight to EU AI Act restrictions. It creates a clear regulatory divergence between the US and EU, influencing where AI companies will choose to base operations and infrastructure. So this is an interesting one. I don't think it quite affects the Fable block just yet. It's more about innovation and development. So this is it's a good start for the US, but it's not all the way there yet. Those that were using Fable and had access to Fable for only about 36 hours before it was restricted would have known that that really was the most powerful LLM model to work with. And so not being able to access it really does stifle innovation, in my opinion, anyway. Now, why does this specific executive order matter? Well, obviously, the fragmentation of regulation is going to accelerate AI capability development in the US, and it's going to increase geopolitical tension around AI safety standards, creating a two-tier global AI landscape where American companies move faster, but they are going to face greater international scrutiny. So going to be interesting to see if the EU can catch up, if the EU can create a framework for AI companies to foster innovation. It's it's really important that the EU does keep up with what's going on in the US, because China are going to do it all behind closed doors. And the allies of the EU and the US together, they really need to be moving in step if they are to compete with China, in my opinion, anyway. Right, so the next story from Kernel Tech News is that SpaceX has acquired Cursor in a huge AI-powered M&A deal. Massive acquisition. This, of course, using its recent IPO liquidity, SpaceX has acquired Cursor. They are an AI code generation platform, if you didn't know who Cursor was. Almost like a glorified codex that you get in GPT. They've paid $60 billion. Can you handle? This is the pricing of AI companies at the moment. It marks the first major acquisition by a freshly public company in an aggressive AI talent and capability war. This is huge for X as well, the X Corporation, because of course, X are trying to keep up with Anthropic and OpenAI with Grok. And SpaceX are going to be providing a lot of compute for these companies as well. So massive move by SpaceX to acquire Cursor. The deal signals that aerospace and defense companies are now strategic acquirers in the AI space, prioritizing AI-driven autonomy and decision-making for next-generation spacecraft and defense systems. The acquisition represents a broader pattern where legacy industrial tech companies, not just pure software firms, are using public markets to consolidate AI talent and IP. Why this matters. Here's why it matters. It reshapes M&A strategy for 2026 IPO candidates. Of course, we still have OpenAI looking to go public this year, and Anthropic as well. So it signals that AI capability acquisition is now a core strategic priority for physical infrastructure companies, not just software vendors, implying that AI-driven autonomy will permeate aerospace, defense, and manufacturing much faster than previously expected. So those are your primary tech stories at the moment: the Trump executive order around AI innovation and regulation, and SpaceX acquiring Cursor. And now let's have a look at what the biggest tech crypto stories are on globalcrypto.tv. This is the biggest one, and quite frankly, this is the biggest story of the week, in my opinion. Polymarket, they have been under huge scrutiny because of a fake win scandal. This is the full picture broken down for you real quick. So the Wall Street Journal broke down an investigation where they reviewed 1,105 videos from 10 different creators posted between December last year and mid-May this year. And what they found was that Polymarket and marketing contractor Virality paid creators $2,000 to $3,000 monthly to film fake bets on near identical replica websites, including one that misspelt Polymarket. It was poymarket.com, with roughly $1.9 million in displayed wagers, none of which were real. So across 118 clips, creators celebrated nearly $900,000 in fake winnings that would have actually lost more than $166,000 if they were real bets. The campaign was specifically aimed at US users, despite Polymarket being banned from serving American customers since its 2022 CFTC settlement, with creators instructed not to disclose the paid relationship and a separate commenter network built to fake organic engagement, something that Kernel Media is not doing. Our engagement is entirely natural and entirely organic. So this is interesting that marketing companies are faking engagement. That really goes to show how desperate a lot of these kind of companies can be to show their viewership and their audiences and bloat those numbers up. I mean, this scandal just, it goes beyond just the betting. They have even faked engagement and audience numbers. It's crazy. So it compounds a parallel scandal where the CMO of Polymarket, Matthew Modaba, allegedly used a personal PayPal account to send over $2.5 million to 800 plus creators without ad disclosures. The scandal lands as Polymarket courts institutional legitimacy, including a deal with a New York Stock Exchange's parent company at a near $15 billion valuation. And this is all as investigators flag 19 promoted videos discussing trading and inside information. Regulators are responding on multiple fronts. Spain has already ordered ISPs to block Polymarket, and US officials are now using AI to hunt suspicious trades on offshore accounts. You can't get away from AI. It's everywhere. Why does it matter? Well, it strikes at the core trust proposition of prediction markets. Platforms built on the idea that prices reveal genuine crowd belief. By showing the viral proof that sold the product to new users was largely fabricated performance, just as the industry tries to move from regulatory gray zone into mainstream finance. I mean, it really is a huge story. Everyone has seen Polymarket all over the place, and prediction markets are truly the buzzword in crypto at the moment. Of course, in the super ecosystem, we have just seen hype markets launched from ToonSwap on Supra's mainnet, and I'm pretty sure I have been in touch with the founder, Chris. I am 99.99% sure that the volumes there are entirely legitimate. I personally, who have been involved in super live streams showcasing hype markets, have not been paid a single cent from hype markets or ToonSwap. So I can assure you that all you see there is legitimate. So this prediction market space is really, really heating up. And as it does so, and as there's so much interest in it, it's really intriguing to see how Polymarket are faking the actual bets placed by these influencers, and the organic numbers that are supposedly showcasing how big their views aren't even organic. I think there's going to be a lot of murky waters to come from Polymarket as this investigation unfolds. Right, and wrapping up your stories for this week, the fourth story of the week, the second one in crypto, is Bitcoin's pricing, which is holding support despite geopolitical headwinds, with the technical structure deteriorating. This is pretty unfortunate news, and you may have seen that I actually posted a story on Global Crypto TV this week as well about asking 4 different LLMs when they think the bear market is going to end, and they're indicating it's going to turn around about end of the year, early next year. So this does all line up, this story here. So Bitcoin recovered to approximately $64,000 by the weekend after earlier dips to $61,000, and investors were engaged in bargain buying following a bruising week dominated by geopolitical uncertainty and leveraged liquidations. Technical analysis, however, flags a potential bear flag formation, with analysts warning that Bitcoin's current structure is deteriorating on multiple timeframes, and exchange volumes have dropped 3.45% in May to $4.41 trillion. That's the lowest reading since September 2024. So we really are almost in the depths of this bear market. We're almost in the peak, if you like, of this bear market. Thin volume environments are amplifying directional moves and making price discovery difficult. Some analysts are flagging $54,000 as the critical support level if the bear flag completes. And judging by what a lot of people have said, by what my LLM said in my report, I think we could even go lower than that. So this is interesting, of course, not financial advice, and of course, do your own research. But I find this lining up with a lot of the research that I've seen. If you want to check my article out, you can. Global Crypto TV on X. It's an X article. I haven't posted it to our news platform, globalcrypto.tv. Just go to X, Global Crypto TV, and scroll down until you find the article where I asked 4 LLMs about the bear market. So why is this mattering? Well, weak volume during a geopolitical crisis, of course, the Iranian war, the Strait of Hormuz, etc. It suggests institutional conviction is low, and it means Bitcoin may lack the buying pressure needed to defend key support levels if cascading liquidations resume. It creates a risk of deeper drawdowns despite the narrative of Bitcoin as a hedge. So this is really important to understand as we move deeper and deeper into this bear market. And guys, that wraps up the news for the week. If you've just tuned in, I will roll you one more time real quick here. Let's take you back to the stories. The 4 stories for you were as such. The Trump administration has removed AI regulation, promoting innovation. Our second story is that SpaceX acquired Cursor in a major AI-powered M&A deal, which reshapes M&A strategy for 2026 IPO candidates and signals that AI capability acquisition is now a core strategic priority for physical infrastructure companies. The big one, of course, Polymarket faking their wins with fake websites, fake numbers of viewership, and this is really going to get regulators scrutinizing prediction markets even more, and it strikes at the core trust proposition of prediction markets. And then, as we've just discussed, Bitcoin holding support despite those geopolitical headwinds. The technical structure is deteriorating. So that wraps up the stream for today. We will do it again, same time, same place next week, right here. And you can make sure that you are following Kernel Tech News, one word, and Global Crypto TV. Quick shout out to everybody watching on the chat real quick. Let's have a look at where you guys are at and who we have with us today. Let's have a look. Web3 Sniper saying, great show. Thank you so much, brother. And Sniper over on X as well. Thank you, bro. Amazing. Thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate your support. Don't forget to repost when you see them and when we go live. We'll catch you guys same time, same place, right here on Kernel Tech News and Global Crypto TV, and me personally, James Bonsama. It's been fun. As always, until next time, I'll catch you guys same place, same time, right here.